Let the injuries real quick. Tevin Mitchell has a shoulder. He is going to undergo further evaluation. We'll know more this afternoon. Willie Smith is going to take another day or two with his Achilles strain. And Jerron Johnson tweaked his hamstring, but it looks like he's going to try to go today. We have a couple guys that we're holding out of practice today just because it's a rest day. And guys that have coming off injury, we don't want to overwork them this early.
Okay, well, on the subject of injuries, more of the recurring type. You got players, and just to name Jordan Reed, Chris Thompson, who have had trouble staying on the field. What can a player learn how to stay healthy and stay on the field in a lot of cases, or is it just a matter of luck?
Well, a lot of it's luck, but a lot of it is also what you're doing in the weight room to get yourself ready. And how you're taking care of your body off the field. But, a lot of it is just dumb luck. Jordan's had a couple unfortunate injuries. Same with Chris. They're both tough guys, I like to think. But and knock on wood, they look excellent out there right now. But some of those guys, we got to make sure they get treatment before and after practice, even if they don't have any injuries. They got to take care of their bodies. They got to ice their bodies down and do what the trainers tell them. And so far, those guys are on the right path.
Coach. One of the things Scott said he wanted to achieve to help this team get better was to get bigger in the trenches. Now that we're a few days into camp, how do you feel he's gone towards that goal, and how are the guys looking on both sides of the offensive and defensive line?
Oh, we definitely got bigger, that's for sure. In addition to Brandon and Ari and Spencer Long moving in the right side, the right guard, and we're bigger, and you can feel them, especially on some of the runs we're trying to do, the different runs we're doing. So far, so good. We are still working on our identity, so to speak, in the running game. We're trying to challenge our guys with different run-type schemes, and it's looking good so far, but we have a long way to go.
Jay, you've tried to reshape your D-line, Knighton, Steven, and Ricky Jean, but yet you don't have a lot of youth up there, really. None of those guys are kids. You don't have 22, 23-year-olds. Are you concerned at all about the age factor on your D-line, that you really don't have a lot of youth there?
Yeah, you always want to have some young guys to develop in-house. But I think they still have a lot of football left in them, all those guys. And you throw in Frank Kierce, who played some minutes for us last year. He's a younger guy, so to speak. So we have a couple young guys in the building we're looking at and we're going to gauge. But to have a veteran group on the defensive line is not a bad thing. You had Golston in there also. He's a veteran. But they can all still play. And eventually we'll have to probably get a younger guy in here to develop. But right now we feel good about the depth of our defensive line. That's the good thing about it, is they might be a little bit older, but the amount of guys that we have in there that we can rotate, we should keep them fairly fresh.
On that defensive line, Stephen Pye seems super quick. What have you seen from him since you brought him in off season, working with teammates, and then now in practice?
Well, I've seen he's probably our strongest player. That's for sure. He's very good in the weight room. He and Mike Clark go back. They were together at Chicago and exceptional in the weight room, and it carries over on the field. He's got great work ethic, and he plays very hard. So to add him in the mix as a rotational guy with Hatcher and Terrence and Baker and Golston and all those guys and Ricky Jean should give us a lot of depth and should keep us fresh.
Right back here. You got a new defensive coordinator, a different kind of a defense. I wonder if you have changed your approach toward the defense at all compared to last year, whether it be more hands-on or more hands-off or anything of that nature with the relationship between you and the defense and the defensive coordinator.
I sat in all the off-season meetings with Coach Fuel and studying what they're doing in the secondary. I always like to learn more about defenses and how they attack and how they react to certain things and how they adjust to certain formations. So I'm been more of a listener and asking questions and what if this, what if we give you this when you're playing this, and challenging them a little bit with formations and questions and all that stuff. But it's Joe's baby right now. Joe and Perry have been a lot of places and have a lot of experience, and I trust what they're doing right now.
Jay, I know you want to get off to a fast start, as any coach would right here. But would you hesitate at all if one of your rookies or young players is clearly outplaying one of the veterans in preseason to maybe put them in the starting lineup?
No, that's not my MO. If you look at the track record, in Cincinnati we had a ton of rookies playing for us, and I don't have any problem with a rookie if he's playing well. And, right now Brandon's taking the first string reps, and Ari's making a strong move there at left guard. He's doing a great job. Crowder's making plays all over the field. Preston's doing a good job on defense. Kaishawn Jarrett's doing an excellent job at safety. So we're going to let them guys keep competing, and if they outplay a guy in front of them, that's what competition's all about. We'll play the best guy.
Jay, you made a lot of changes to your assistant staff this offseason, probably more so than a sitting coach usually does. How much of that was you looking around and realizing there were changes, or other people in the organization kind of saying, hey, Jay, some collaboration there? And do you feel like the changes that were made were the right ones?
Oh, absolutely. I have nothing but respect for the guys that worked for me before. They're all good football coaches, but a lot of times in this business you need to make changes, and we felt like we had to do that as an organization. And the changes we made, we feel very good about them. The results will speak for themselves once we get going, but right now I like their energy, I like their knowledge of the game, and I like the way they coach these players. And I've said it a million times, the bottom line is we need coaches here to develop the young guys and get the most out of the veterans. And I feel good about where we are with those guys.
Jay, when Matt Jones got here, he wasn't necessarily the most polished guy coming out to Florida with what they did. He ran funny in the OTAs, and the big knock on him was he couldn't see holes a lot. Have you noticed, it's only been 4 days here, but have you noticed that what you've told him in the offseason to kind of work on that stuff has taken heart, and that he actually has put a good effort toward becoming a pretty good fit there?
Yeah, I think I don't know who was knocking him. I don't remember ever knocking him, but coming out of Florida, I think he's a big kid, and he's got great feet in the hole, and he's showing great vision out here so far. He's the only people I've seen him run into are safeties so far. But I've been impressed with Matt. It's a tough position to play. You think you just get the ball from the quarterback and you run through a hole and all's good, but there's a lot more to it to playing running back, and so far he's picking up the nuances, the protections, and the footwork of entering the hole, and obviously catching the ball out of the backfield is something a little bit new to him, but I've been impressed with his progress. Jordan's an excellent running back coach, and he takes these guys under his wing and does a great job of developing these guys, and Matt, we have high hopes for, obviously, with his size and power running the football.
Hate to read into 1 day of full padded practices, but it seems like the defense is maybe taking away the deep ball a little bit more and kind of leaving the quarterbacks with check downs. Is that good practice for the quarterbacks too, in terms of taking what's available? Oh,
no question. It's great. You get excited when you throw deep balls in practice when you're an offensive guy, but if you're the head coach or a defensive, you don't want to see any of those over the top of your defense. And we gave up, a lot of those in the past, and we're trying to really make offenses work for every yard that they get, every blade of grass they have to work for. So if the quarterback has to check it down, we're going to rally all eyes on the ball and make good sound tackles, fundamental tackles, and try to get the ball out. But it is a great test for our quarterbacks to be patient, get the ball out of your hands, let the running backs or receivers on the check downs do the work for you. But we have taken a few shots and hit some, but overall I think our defense has done a great job at taking away the deep ones.
Jay, it's a question mainly about Scott McCloughan and how your roles are delineated. So as he was preparing for the draft, he talked to us, he was looking for the best player, best athlete available. What was your role, if any, in sort of guiding him or leading him to best player for this particular style of offense? Or we want players who function in this particular style of defense. Was his baby or a collaboration?
It's a collaboration, no question about it. And that's the one thing that, did my thing go out? That's the one thing I really feel comfortable with Scott moving forward with is that he takes input from everybody. And obviously, ultimately, he has a final call on who he wants to select, but it never really came down to I want this, no, but I want this. Together, we always came up with a choice that we felt good about the team. But, he understands what football's all about. He understands what offenses are all about and defenses and what it takes to win in this league. And he believes in big people, obviously, in the front, as do I. And we made the necessary adjustments and picks, and we're going to get better from here on out. But together, I think, if you're asking, we collaborated together. But he ultimately had the final call.
Coach, how have you seen Alfred Morris contribute to the team, obviously over the past few seasons, but also just so far in camp? And then does your mindset with him change at all as his free agency approaches?
No, not at all. We anticipate Alfred being here for a while. knock on wood, hopefully. We're really, you know, Alfred sometimes he's not the big name guy, I guess, because you have Deshaun and some of these, and Robert obviously gets a lot of publicity, but Alfred just goes about his business every day. He's been excellent with blitz pickups. He's catching the ball out of the backfield so much better, and doesn't say a peep. Just comes to work every day, and you love to have guys like that. At the running back position, that's pretty rare for a running back not to complain about getting the ball. You know, sometimes he probably should. But overall, man, I just love what Alfred's all about, both on and off the field, and very happy to have him.
Hey, Coach, I was just wondering if you were having more fun this year.
Yeah, well, I try to have fun all the time. It doesn't look like it, but I am having fun, actually. You know, you got to love this sport. You love the competition. You love the guys out here coming to work, the coaching staff that we have, you know, the people in the front office. Everybody's working with one goal in mind, and that's to turn this thing around and get ourselves back to winning a Super Bowl caliber team as quick as possible. And you can see us all working and putting it in, and you don't have to be a miserable guy to do that. You can still have fun with the guys and get a lot out of them, and that's what we try to do.
Coach, a lot of teams, they build their roster for the division. How have you guys really made any in-grounds to really making sure that you guys are more competitive?
In the division?
Yes, sir.
Well, you know, we're building our roster to just field the best 53 guys, number one, but we also are very aware of what our division opponents are all about. You know, the Cowboys, Eagles, and Giants, and but it's no secret. You know, you want to protect your quarterback and run the ball, and obviously on defense you got to stop the run and get after the quarterback when it's third down, and we're trying to do our best to build our team to you know, appease that. But overall, you know, you look and see what your competition's all about. But we also have 12. You know, we also have the other games out of the division that we have to worry about. But we're trying to build our team so teams have to worry about us and them not worry about us. Worry about them. All right, thank you guys.